Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paula's Soapbox Live. Well, you may recognize my guest today for his role as Dax Daley on Fear the Walking Dead, and of course for his role as Michael W. Smith in the 2018 film I Can Only Imagine. I am so pleased to welcome to the show actor Jake Miller.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, Jake, thank you for coming on the show today. Sorry about the technical issues.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of a little Wi-Fi flare, but it's working
Right.
out. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Of
Appreciate it.
course, of course. So, as I mentioned, you were on Fear the Walking Dead. So, were you a fan of the Walking Dead franchise before you joined the show?
No, I wasn't. I actually, a lot of times we'll go into the audition room and audition for the casting director, but this was one of those rare times where I actually got to audition on tape, and then I booked off tape,
Mhm.
which is it was kind of few and far between that happens, but I got kind of lucky, and then they decided to keep me on the show for like 4 episodes, so that was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Um, it was a fun show. It was a lot of fun. I was in Mexico for about 3 months, and then I raced dirt bikes.
Yeah.
Uh, it was actually I had done 2 episodes, I believe, and then I got into an accident and shattered my ACL.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I had just gotten home, and I thought I was done. I thought
Yeah.
they were using me for like 2 or 3 episodes, and then I thought I was done. But so I couldn't walk at this point. And it was before I had surgery. My manager calls me right after this accident and says they want you for another episode. So I ended up going to do that last episode in, I think the episode Red Dirt, and I had a completely torn sling around set, and the producers and directors, they're like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Nothing, nothing, nothing." I couldn't say anything because I didn't want to get fired. I just took a lot of Tylenol
Yeah.
and pushed through and did this thing on a completely torn
Wow.
ACL. I got back. Second I got back, I did a surgery, and yeah, it was it was a painful,
I would
painful shoot.
imagine.
It worked out.
Yeah. So, I read that you have a twin brother. Is he also
I
is
do.
he also in the entertainment business?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, he's actually if I get this right, a biomedical electronic technician. So he basically repairs ventilator machines and hospital equipment, X-rays, and stuff like that in hospitals. And he lives in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
So we were both raised in Alabama and kind of separated when we were 12. He lived with my mom. I lived with my dad, and then he moved out to Idaho and raced his dirt bikes too. It's off road all over Idaho, and I ride all over California as often as I can, even
Yeah.
though I'm not supposed to. I promised myself I wouldn't after the last accident, and then I went and bought another
Then you
bike.
went and did it again. Wow, that doesn't get much further from acting than what he does. I'm not sure I can repeat what you just said.
Well, so when it comes to like just trying to talk about what we do in everyday lives, like we just don't, we don't have a whole lot in common. I mean, we get along. He just doesn't get it.
Right? Yeah.
But then again, a lot of people don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm from Alabama, so
Right.
I come from a very, very small town. Every time I go back home, my grandmother's like, "Well, when are you going to be on the next big movie? Why don't you just tell them to put you in it?"
Right. Because it works that way.
I'll just ask them. I'll just knock on their door, whoever they are.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I want to be in your film. So.
but they were
Yep.
really, really happy with the faith base because I have a very Christian side of one family, so they were really happy
Right.
with that. And Dennis Quaid was in it. It did really well.
Yeah. I
So
saw it last year. It was a very inspirational film.
yeah, you liked it.
I did like it. Yeah.
That was
So
fun.
how did you research that role for Michael W. Smith? Did you meet him before?
I did didn't meet him, and he actually wasn't on set, so I've never actually met him.
Oh,
But
wow.
I kind of just dug into video after video after video that I could find of him, and I kind of just noticed he had like a soft kind of thing, and he was real,
Yeah.
he had a real warm presence to him, and I just try to tap into that and just deliver it honestly, and then I got to work with John Michael Finley in the film. He was the lead actor, and he's just so charming and funny that it was really easy to play opposite him. He's just so it wasn't really acting, I mean, you can just watch him and just crack up. He's just so good and witty and funny in that film.
Yeah.
So yeah, it felt fun once, just got to sink into that feeling. It was really interesting to play a real character,
Yeah, a real person. Yeah.
a real person, which
Yeah.
also, I guess, put a little more weight on it, because you really don't want to fuck it up,
Right. Yeah.
Um, but it was fun, I like to I gravitate towards those. I actually was pinned last week for another real character, who was the husband of Patsy Cline in a film that was pinned for. I think we're still on hold. They may have cast it. I don't know. I just know it was on hold for the last month for it. But
Yeah.
it was. Those are my favorite ones, because you actually have something tangible. You have something to look at. You have something to like emulate. And
Right. You're not having to create something out of thin air.
I call like 2 words of that. What?
I said you're not having to create something out of thin air.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find that a lot. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, but like you said, it's a lot of pressure too. So
It's a lot of pressure. You don't
yeah.
want to do, which is, I kind of always wanted to talk to Michael W. Smith, just because it seemed like almost all of the cast members that were the musicians in the original movie, or the singers, were there, except for him. I mean, I think he came at one point, but I wasn't on set when he was there.
Right, yeah. Well, it would be really nice if you can meet him at some point.
I hope I get to, just so I can, hear him say, "Oh, you just slaughtered it. You destroyed me."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I would imagine he probably would be like, "That's not like me at all," I
Yeah.
don't know.
It
Who
was
knows?
it was convincing though. I mean, it was a convincing performance, and I don't know that much about him, but yeah. And the woman they played, Amy Grant, that was convincing as well. So
Well, we had an amazing couple, two twin. I think they're twins, if not they're brothers, but the Irwin brothers that did that movie, and they're really, everybody looked like rock stars.
yeah.
Wardrobe to the lighting to the setups to the shoots, and then it was just a really cool experience. And they actually, I think, got picked. I want to say Fox has now picked them up, so their projects will be going through, if I'm not mistaken.
You cut out in the last part.
So I think that now
Uh-huh.
Fox has picked them up, so the projects going forward will go through them, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. And they've got a couple other projects in the works. Really talented team.
So switching gears here, did you do a PETA ad with Pamela Anderson?
Oh wow! How did you find that?
I dug as deep as I could. You don't have much of a social media presence, so it was hard.
yeah. I try to keep it all like, I don't know. I'm not big on the social media. I try to keep it all private.
Yeah.
My manager gets mad at me. He's like, "You need to promote yourself more," but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter, Facebook, you
I know. I don't even get on my Facebook. I'd rather go ride my dirt bike and go camping with my friends.
yeah.
Have some fun. I'd rather do that than the selfies. Um, was in a gym. It was kind of one of those stories. I was in a gym working out, and this guy came up to me and said, "Do you want to do a photo shoot with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, all right."
Yeah, that doesn't sound sketchy at all.
Sure. And he's like, "No, you'll." He's like, "I'm a legit photographer. Come by the studio. I'll show you my studio, and you'll see that I'm a real photographer or whatever." So I went by his studio, and it was very elaborate. And he showed me his books. And anyway, he ends up being a very, very, very successful, famous photographer. He said, "Do you want to shoot with Pamela Anderson?" And at the point, I was like, you're joking, right?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like, no, we'll shoot on Monday. I'll just bring Pamela in, and we'll do a shoot on Monday. And I was like, sure. So it was David Chappelle. He's got La Chappelle, Chappelle, and he's got a huge, like, he works with all the major stars. And I got to shoot with Pamela Anderson, and he brought me back, and I got to shoot for The Voice and do a couple of other shoots. But that one actually went in the book.
Yeah.
So The Voice was for the billboards that they had for The Voice, and we were in the background of that shoot. And I think Adam Levine didn't want people in his picture, so they ended up changing it because Adam Levine was, throwing a little bit of a fit, I think.
Being a diva.
No. Yeah, I don't know if I should say that, but anyway.
I said it. It's fine.
So I don't know if that actually made the billboard to be there with Miley Cyrus, and I got to meet some really cool people working with him. So yeah, that's how I ended up on a PETA ad. I didn't know that it actually went to a PETA ad.
Oh, okay.
But I guess it did. Yeah, David LaChapelle. But you should look at his work. He's a very, very, very famous, very interesting photographer.
Well, speaking of photography, are you still doing headshot photography?
I do. I kind of have a setup here, and I have backdrop studio set up in my house, and I do headshot photography for actors. And it wasn't something that I wanted to do originally. It was just in the nature of the beast out here. You have to have pictures. You have to have, and my constantly they, if your managers, your agents are having any kind of stick or they're stuck, they want new pictures. They want new material. So you're always having to get them, and they cost like $800, $1,000 every, So I taught myself. I did a couple of shoots with a couple of really good photographers, and I had them teach me. And then I bought a camera with one of those like flip around displays.
Yeah.
And I started doing my own pictures. And then after about 6 months, I kept just sending pictures to my manager. And then finally he says, "Well, who took this one? Who was the photographer on this one?" He's like, "This is a really, really good headshot." And I was like, "Well, I took that." And he's like, "You're kidding me." And I was like, "No, I took that one." So he said, "Well, will you take this guy's picture?" And then he sent me a couple of referrals and asked me to take a couple more. And then that person ended up, so it ended up being a very organic thing. And I was able to capitalize on it unintentionally. So yeah, that's how I kind of got into that.
So were you interested in photography at all before you started doing that?
No, not at all. No.
Wow.
No, I just got really good at it because I had to.
Right.
It was an accident, Do you do photography? Do you like photography?
A little bit. I mean, I used to be really into it growing up when I was younger, and I thought that was kind of like the route I was going to take, and then I just kind of got out of it, so I don't do it that much anymore. If I see something that's inspires me to take a picture or something, I will do that, but I'm not, I'm just not really that into it anymore.
The camera, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like these wedding photographers, they make great money,
Right.
Time.
Yeah. Who knows? I may pick it up again one day.
Are we freezing? I can't see you. You stopped.
Little bit,
There we go.
yeah. Every now and then, it's like the picture freezes. I can hear you okay, but then it's like you just kind of get still.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So, I read that you had actually tried stand-up comedy at some point.
Oh, wow. How did you? Where did you find this?
I think it was an interview you did.
What's that?
I think it was an interview you did, a podcast or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I did a podcast with Ron G. He's a really good friend of mine.
Right.
We did a TV show together called Shut Eye.
Yeah.
The irony is that when I went in to audition for Shut Eye, the casting director recognized me in the room, and she said, "We know each other." And I was like, I couldn't land the face,
Mhm.
but I can't. And she said, "No, no, no, I cast you off Fear the Walking Dead," and that was the same casting director, but I didn't recognize her face because, like I said, I had actually booked that off of a tape. So
Right.
she remembered me from that tape that I did.
Wow.
And then I met Ron G, who's a stand-up comic, and he and I became really good friends. And if that you want somebody to follow Ron G, he's got a great social media following. He's a super, super awesome guy and stand-up comic. I mean, he's just somebody I admire. He's just got a really, he's a very positive person. But yeah, he pulled me onto his podcast, so that might have been what you heard.
Probably. Yeah,
Um,
probably.
But yes, so when I first moved to California, I dated a girl that was also she was on SNL for a while, Jill Michelle Milian,
Mhm.
and she had this huge kind of thing that she had put together that was like an impersonation off,
Mhm.
and it was a stand-up bit, and I had to come up with. She asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said no, and she said, "Well, I think you're missing out on a big opportunity." So I was like, "Okay, I'll stand up. I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
And I don't think that this was probably the way to learn because I was in front of a sold out show in the Ice House and
Ooh, yeah.
like 300 or 400 people. And I was competing with, comics who had done it for years and had
Right.
graduated, from universities doing the stuff. And just fresh off the boat and I hadn't, is that PC? I shouldn't say that. But I mean, I just got into LA, so I didn't know what I was doing, and I told her yeah, and I had to do 2-person stand up with the characters, and I chose to do Matthew McConaughey because that was pretty easy. All right,
Right, with a southern accent.
you know, and I did Jack Sparrow, but I didn't know how hard that was going to be. I just said yeah, I'll do this, and I was just going to wing it, and I got up. I got up the kind of the day before, and I started kind of like working on it a little bit. Of course, I would wait till the day before, and I started working on it a little bit, and I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't create this character, and I go online. I'm like, maybe I'll find some insight online, and it came out that like people in their Sparrow. So that was kind of a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, I went on set. I did the Matthew McConaughey thing. I got the laughs. I got the crowd kind of cheering. She actually made me take my shirt off on stage.
Oh gosh.
I was like, okay. But I did that, which, so I mean, I did it. My heart's like pounding in my throat because I've never done this. And now I'm up there with my shirt off in front of, hundreds of people. And then I did the Jack Sparrow person. I got, it just went down. I didn't do it well at all. And I choked. And then on top of choking, I had
Uh-oh. Okay, Jake is frozen for the moment, so we'll give him a minute to maybe his Wi-Fi will straighten out. Oh, this is uh yeah, I'm not sure if he knows his Wi-Fi is frozen yet, so we'll give him a minute to Jake, you're totally frozen. He may have to log out and log back in again. I don't know. I've just messaged him. There he is.
Oh, I
Hey,
lost you completely.
you completely froze. And now I'm seeing a video of you and a still picture of you from where you froze. So that's a little weird, but it's okay.
Um. Anyway, yeah, back to stand up. I'm glad that you brought that up because I had I bombed kind of on that second part. It was all filmed, and I don't know where the footage went. And I got heckled. I think that's what bothered me the most is I had somebody screaming, and I looked down and I had like this huge armpit stain under both
Well,
arms.
of course. Yeah.
It was, that was years ago. I want to say 8 years ago, and I have been terrified of stand up ever since.
I would imagine. That sounds like a very traumatic experience.
Yeah, yeah. And my friend telling me, he's like, you need to do stand up, Jake. He's like, you got these stories. He's like, I think you'll be good at it. You're an actor. He's like an inspiration, always trying to tell me. And I'm like, maybe he's right. Comics tend to support each other. They have podcasts for each other. He brought me on. And you have a live audience, so you have a little bit of control there.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of thinking about it lately, but I've got a little bit of trauma to overcome, I think.
Right. Yeah, you might want to start out a little smaller next time and not with a sold out crowd.
Yeah. Or go to yeah. It's nerve wracking. That was scary.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you definitely got thrown into the fire with that one, and then having to be on stage with your shirt off and everything. I mean,
yeah. Well, I need to reach out to her and see if that footage is still in existence somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's back and
forth. Okay. It's very, very off own.
We're gonna get.
You can hear me okay now though and see me.
You're a little blurry, but I see you.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So I read that you can sing also.
No. Little.
You sing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You read that I can sing?
Yes.
I can do. My agent would kill me for this because I try to take that down from my resume. I can, I can do a little, but I would say more like barroom karaoke kind of stuff. I can sing a little bit, but I wouldn't say I'm classically trained. And I ended up getting an audition for Mamma Mia 2.
Yeah.
And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I got an audition for Mamma Mia 2, and I was supposed to sing. And then I get this, and I panicked. It was kind of like the being thrown out to the stand-up,
Yeah.
And I was like, Mamma Mia. I was like, I'm not classically trained. I'm classically trained. So I spent the weekend coaching all weekend with a really amazing singing coach. I did the audition, and then my agents got it, and they were like, okay, well, your acting's really good, but we're not going to send that off.
The singing,
like, you're just
not so much.
Yeah, so they didn't. They were like, well, take that off your resume because if you have to go in for like a Broadway or something like that, then you're going to be in a bad situation.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, thankfully that was a tape, so they could just say, hey, we're not sending the tape in instead of like going in and doing, a mockery of myself.
Yeah. So what can you tell me about the Astrid experience?
Okay, so a friend of mine, actually, I sat down with I was friends with this girl named Stephanie Blair, and she introduced me to Cal Barnes, who's he's in, and we sat down and about 6 months ago and said, let's put something out there, let's make something. And it was just kind of coffee talk, we just sat down, had a coffee. He had, I think he was looking for people to help him create another project that he was working on, like a new age Peter Pan type movie. And then, I don't know, a little bit of time went by and I read a couple of his other scripts, and then he, within 6 months, had this movie, and it's like, I'm making it. So we ended up shooting that, and I play a character in this movie, kind of a catalyst to him falling in love with this girl. And it's kind of a love story that he just wrote and create. I like it because he's like somebody that just actually does what they say they're going to do, which you don't get a lot of in LA.
Right.
I mean, within 6 months, he's already made the movie. It's all in post-production now. And then I've got a short film I'm working on right now with another friend of mine. It's untitled currently, but we're kind of going back and forth. He's got a couple of movies that he's working on, and then we're going to work on this short film together. Coming up pretty soon. And then I'm just waiting to hear back on these pens to see if some of the other projects pull through.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all of my questions, unless you have something that you would like to add.
No, I don't think so. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I would love for you to stay in touch and keep me posted on your future projects.
Yeah, and if we do this again, I'm going to do it in a place where I have better Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that'd probably be good.
All right. It was so nice to do this, and I appreciate.
Yeah, it was, and I could hear a little bit of your Alabama accent coming through every now and then. So
it comes and goes. It took a while to get rid of it. They always, particularly for commercials, and I've been going in for a lot of soaps too. They pinned me for a couple of these soaps.
Oh, cool.
And that, it's been fun. Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, Young and the Restless, like keep calling me in. But I think that they don't want the Southern accent, and it's hard to get rid of. So
yeah, it is hard to get rid of it. Yeah, it is. I know.
Are you trying to get rid of yours?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you trying to get rid of yours?
I try to suppress it during interviews.
No,
doesn't work.
Keep it. It's endearing.
Thank you.
I love the Southern accent.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice to talk to somebody who understands the Southern accent, because I don't always get that. So
yeah, go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah,
kind of like mine will oscillate in and out. You know, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not.
Well, I would imagine when you talk to somebody from the South, that's when it's really easy to pick it back up.
Oh yeah, when I talk to my dad,
it gets really thick.
Real. Yeah, it is. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it again. And let's do it again soon.
Absolutely. Just keep me posted on everything that you've got going on. I'm excited to hear about some of these other projects you've got in the works. So
yeah, well, here's keep posted though.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Jake. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.